don't ask. You can go ask for work, or you can just see work that needs to be done. You can just see what your group needs, see what your team needs, see the opportunity and go seize it. Hello, everybody, and good evening. I'm Ethan Evans. You all know that because it's all the regulars here. Because that's who shows up first. Good job. Welcome to being first. Yes, usually you do. Awesome, you certainly do. But just in case there is anybody who doesn't know me, first for my mods, you can go ahead and leave the coronavirus questions that are in the Q&A widget, the Q&A extension, because if we get there, I may answer some of them or give my opinions on them. But for now, what will we talk about? I'm thinking about a new ritual. Cough-free. Oh, that's coffee. I thought you were saying cough-free, but yeah, got it. I was thinking about a new stream ritual. So the first thing, it always takes a little while for the audience to show up. And I was thinking maybe I'd start opening every stream with a resume review. Like, everybody loves that. And so just every stream, I could do like the resume takedown for the first 10 minutes while everyone shows up. And so, yeah. Let me know what you think about that. You can sound off in chat if you think that would be fun. Great incentive for people to show up early. Yes, I definitely thought about that. PMA Dota. Yeah, hey, Geeky. Good to see you. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people like that. So there was a resume that was put in our Discord channel. Let me take a minute, and since people like that, I need to just take a minute and manage some windows here, and I can probably pull that off. So we'll do a resume real quick. I haven't looked at it in a long time. I'll have to make sure it is somebody that we've helped before. But I could just do like a resume, you know, every week or every stream. Let me see here. Uploading. Yay. Okay, now open. Yeah, so we've helped this person before, but I haven't read this resume. It does look like they took all their stuff off of it. So let's just do it. Let's do a resume. Like, we'll start making that maybe a new tradition, a resume takedown while we gather the stream. So let's see real quick. I'm Ethan Evans. I'm VP of Twitch Prime at Amazon. When I speak here, I don't represent Amazon or Twitch. Our real topic tonight is going to be what can we do? And what I want to do and why I'm thinking of resumes is I feel a little bit powerless in the COVID situation. I feel like, yeah, okay, I'm sitting at home. I'm not being, ooh, my monitor got tilted. That's all right. We'll retilt the camera just a little. There's so much microphone. That's okay. So anyway, I feel like I don't have enough agency, right? That I'm just sitting here kind of waiting it out. And I don't like to be passive. And I don't think that's good in your career. So I'm going to talk about the career part of don't be passive in a minute. And then we'll talk about what we can maybe do as a community so that we're not passive about Corona either. I should share the drink of the evening. Tonight's drink is essentially an orange margarita. So rather than lime, it's OJ. But its official recipe is 2 ounces of Jose Cuervo. It is !drink in chat. Should bring it up. 1 ounce of Grand Marnier, an ounce and a half of sweet and sour, an ounce and a half of orange juice, and in my case, over rocks and salt. And it's pretty good. All right, let's do this resume while people pile in. And then we'll hit the topic. So this was dropped off in our community resume review. in our Discord. So I haven't looked at it in a long time. So it's a standard resume. It's white. It's plain. It's got a tiny bit of blue, which has got some accent. One of the things to debate is whether or not a resume should have a picture. So one thing to consider that makes a resume more personal is putting a photo. There's a nice place for it up here in the upper right where you could put a photo. And then I haven't read this at all, so you're going to see this the same time I do. Now, this is a person who's gotten a bunch of advice from our channel and has edited their resume to that advice. And yes, Jack the Dipper, you're right. Photo can be used to prejudge a person. However, that may work to your advantage. So if you're a person you think will be prejudged favorably, you might want to put a picture on. And generally anything that helps you stick out might be worth it, might be a positive. So it can help people recognize you. You know, however, I will say a photo is putting a photo on a resume is a mixed question. I don't have a strong opinion on it. Devin Nash, who sometimes we stream together, feels very strongly you should do it. So, tearing this one down real quick, I see some people in chat say maybe too much white space. This person, I scrolled through it quickly. I'll put the rest on screen. They only have about 5 years of experience. So, 5 years isn't a huge amount of time. And so maybe you could put more on. But this is like the standard tech person resume. Education at the bottom. Skills, like what I call the alphabet soup section of every acronym and things they work on in the middle, you know, next to the bottom. What I would argue is missing is an objective. Now, since the resume does say lead software engineer and then software engineer, and then their degree is in computer science, it is kind of implied that this person is looking for a software job. So you only really need an objective if you're looking for something not a software job. But you can add one to give clarity about what you're doing or what level or what type of company or role. So let's see. What do we have here? He's been at the same company 5 years. He's had 2 roles. It's good, shows progression. I remember talking to this person about you want to have some way to divide your 5 years up to show progression, even if you have to fudge a little bit on the titles. But, you know, he's done this lead job onboarding people, guiding them through our main projects. He's made a results claim. So this is in star format. And chat wants to know, what do I think about adding streaming as a hobby? I think it's fine to add as a hobby. I don't think you add it as like an accomplishment. People don't see it that way yet. That may change with all the work from home. But right now, they don't see it that way yet. What else did the lead engineer here do? Coordinated with dispatch office. So coordinated is not a strong word. Neither is onboarded. So this person's done actually very good work, but yeah, coordinated. First bullet is too wordy. Yeah, you want them to be a little more impactful, and you want to start with stronger words. So mentored or oriented or anything onboarded is a little weak and sounds transitory. Oriented's not bad. Mentored is the canonical or normal word. Coordinated with dispatch office, lousy. Liaised, really technical word. Anyway, you want a strong opening word. Coordinated isn't that. You can even use the thesaurus. What does STAR stand for? Chat. Lecture Jace Jacka here for me. Just for, not lecture, just explain. This is like chat's test. Can you spell out? There we go. Good job, T Weirdo. Star is situation, task, action, result. I can count on you. You've heard all my shows. You normally want to cover what you've done, like your title in the company is the situation, and then the task was what you were doing, the action is what you specifically do, and the result is what happened. So if you look at this first one, his company and his role is the situation. The task was to onboard 2 entry-level software engineers. Okay. The action he took was guiding him through our main project, software and tools, etc., with a result that they provided code 3 months later. Now, we said we need a stronger word than coordinated. That's fine. But coordinated with Dispatch Office on developing an Android app, so that's the task. And then the action is kind of unclear, but there is a result, improving their efficiency 20%. The task and the action are a little bit muddied together here. Like, what was he actually asked to do? Was he asked to create? And I would, by the way, say created an Android app to track bin storage location in coordination with our dispatch offices. You can hide the weak word of coordinated by reversing the sentence. So electricity, streaming requires a lot of skill, can give you a lot of skill in marketing, etc. You can definitely position streaming as an accomplishment. If I were to write about it now on my resume, I haven't updated my resume and added streaming, but I could, because I could talk about building a community. I could talk about reaching Twitch partner. I could talk about learning new technology through it, becoming the strongest thing I would talk about is becoming comfortable as an impromptu public speaker several hours a week and being comfortable on camera. So totally, there's a ton of stuff you can say about streaming. You just have to be careful about it. Yeah. Networking was a huge part of the success. I would not have gotten where I got without Devin, without help from Devin, without help from Dr. K, Healthy Gamer, GG, Alok Kanagia, and some others. No question. All right, so bottom line on this resume, what I mean by be careful is don't overplay it. Some people will still see streaming as some weird geeky thing of no value that's a distraction from your core skills. So you can feel judged by that, and you can feel that's unreasonable or that those people are boomers, but boomers make a lot of the hiring decisions. So you want to focus on your direct work skills and then add in things like streaming to show that you learn beyond the boundaries of your work. I hope that's clear. All right, so we've kind of started a new tradition, which is review a resume. Bottom line is I would give this resume a high grade. There's a couple reasons I'd give it a high grade. It follows our basic format. It doesn't have a ton of mistakes. And it's a standard software development resume. So it gets like a B+, maybe an A-. Where it fails is it doesn't stand out, but it doesn't screw up. This resume is not going to cost the owner a job. It just might not get them a job. All right, cool. So with that, I'm going to swap back over here for a minute. And let's talk about our real topic, which is taking action. And what do I mean here? Well, look, all the time I'm talking about the magic loop, and most of you here have heard me talk about the magic loop before. The idea that in order to advance your career, you do 5 things. And the loop comes only at the end. So if you know Lisp or something like that, it's tail recursion. And if you don't, that has no meaning. The magic loop, real quick, 5 steps. Do your job well. Go ask your boss what else you can do to help. When the boss says something, go do it. Sorry, there's a thumb hidden here, so that's 3 things. Then after you do that thing, go back and ask them, can I do something like this that helps advance my career? And you describe what you want. And they'll usually say yes. And then when they do that, go do it. And Gianni04, you are very welcome. And I hope you're successful in the medical field. We have a number of people in medicine as part of the stream. So I hope you get a lot of value. Welcome to the community. And I'm glad to see you with the Twitch Prime crown, because God knows it's a great product. And so do I. But God knows better. So anyway, and the last thing you do is after your boss says, yeah, I'll give you a project in the area you want, you do it and you do it well. And then you repeat. You keep going back and asking and getting work and doing it well. But tonight we're going to talk about a modification of the magic loop, which is one of our standards here. But the modification is don't ask. You can go ask for work, or you can just see work that needs to be done. You can just see what your group needs, see what your team needs, see the opportunity and go seize it. Now, if you're going to do that, it's important to be right. But if there's anything a boss likes better, if you want to upgrade the magic loop and make it stronger, rather than nagging me to come up with work for you, if you can just see something I'm struggling with or the team is struggling with, step up and do it, that's even better. Now, the danger here is you'll be seen as overstepping your bounds, or you might have a boss who doesn't like it and feels threatened and they're too controlling. Well, okay, bosses like that are jerks. And I don't know what to tell you about bosses who are jerks, except, hey, sometimes they're jerks. And I usually tell people just leave in that case over time, like if that's a repeated pattern. But, and if you have questions about this, by the way, you can throw them into our question extension, and I'll talk more about this. But basically, what you want to do is modify the magic loop as follows in this case. Do your regular job well, then see what needs to be done. See something that obviously isn't getting done but needs to be done. And then go do it. And just repeat. That can actually shorten the magic loop. You can go do the thing, go back and make sure your regular job is done well, go find another thing that needs to be done, step up and do it. Now, there's a ton of variations of this, okay? I told you the original variation is once your job is done well, you go ask the boss, how can I help you? Which is music to a manager's ears and will lead to a better relationship with your manager and promotion and career growth if you have a good manager. And if you don't have a good manager, it will lead to feedback that lets you know you need to leave and go find a good manager. So it's a win-win. But there are really a few variations. On one end, there's just ask. Go in clueless, go in totally open-minded and ask the boss, I have extra time and energy. What can I do to help? That's one end. The complete other end is don't ask for anything. See what you believe needs to be done and just do it. And if you understand your company and how it produces value, you can skip the step of asking and just go produce value. And if you have a good manager, they'll be like, this is friggin' fantastic. There is a ton of middle ground. And in fact, what I would recommend, and see, this is a bonus show. This is actually stronger than a lot of the stuff I thought I had to say tonight, because you've got me on a roll here, which is fun and good. You can ask what to do. You can decide what to do. And there's a middle where you can say, oh, I'm not sure. I think our team needs more happy hours. So then you go to your boss and you say, I was thinking our team needs more happy hours. How about if I set those up? What do you think of every Thursday at 5, we have an invite to a different nearby restaurant? Or once a month on the third Tuesday, we bring in a keg of beer, or whatever. The middle ground between guessing what needs to be done and doing it, and asking is to take suggestions to your boss and say, I think I see this need. How about if I met it this way? And there's a million variations in here. But the point is, managers not only love people who step up to help them, they also love people who just figure out what needs to be done. And the strongest people on my team both see things that need to be done and do them, and they also magically come ask me how they can help in case they're not seeing. All right, let me see what chat's been saying here, because I've been talking and not reading. But can it not also create a problem that your boss will think, hey, I can give him more work, and before you know it, you're way more work than normal that you maybe can't handle? So yeah, Jack, this is a common question about the magic loop. The basic thing is what you're trying to do is do higher and higher. You're trying to do higher and higher value work. And when you start to get overloaded, you go back to your boss and you say, you know, I really am enjoying helping you out. As I understand it, the stuff I'm doing is pretty important and valuable. I'm getting overwhelmed, though, with my old responsibilities. Is there any way to shift some of those? Basically, can you get rid of stuff that's no longer needed? So that's what you do. All right, go mods. Slay the infidels. Drive them out. So, okay, cool, Jack. I'm glad you got it. Yeah, that's all right. When the mods get going and they slay the infidels, I'm happy. Okay, Kristen says, I had a feeling I knew what was priority for my boss, so I started planning how to take action and began taking actions. Then my one-on-one, he said, I'd like to confirm this is what I believe you'd like my help with the most, which he did. Yeah, perfect. So Kristen nailed this in her description. This is exactly how you want it to work out, where you're proactive. All right, let's see. So that's kind of my soliloquy on this. I have some notes, though, some fun notes. We're going to share some effing COVID stats, and then we're going to talk. The place I want to go with this, though, is as a community, where do we go on taking action on COVID? Because most of us aren't doctors. Most of us aren't first responders. And so what can we do? Because at least I feel a little bit stuck passive, because other than staying home and social distancing and entertaining you here on stream, which is proactive, I don't have as much impact as I want. So I both want your suggestions later. You can hold them for what kind of impact I can have. And maybe we want to do a big team up as a streaming community, and figure out what we can do. And true to my word, I have a couple of suggestions. Okay, but before we do that, let's do some fun story hour and stats. So, where to begin? I wanted to tell a story, in pictures no less, of a place where I absolutely had to take action. So before I do that, I want to bring up Amazon's statement on this, just so you can see how one company does it. So Amazon has this thing called bias for action. And what it states is these are our leadership principles, how everyone in the company is supposed to act. And bias for action, as you can read, says speed matters in business. Many decisions and actions are reversible and do not need extensive study. We value calculated risk-taking. So the key that's worth sharing here, and this is all public. This is posted on our website, right? If you're ever curious, I'll put the link in chat now. You can go read all 14 leadership principles. Whether you love Amazon or not, whatever you're doing in your life, Amazon has been very, very successful using these as leadership principles. So you probably want to at least consider them, consider their value. So the key phrase in here is many decisions and actions are reversible. And so the point here is some things you can undo, like happy hours. I gave this facetious example earlier of somebody who says, hey, we should start having happy hours the third Tuesday of every month. Just like that. Maybe you try that and it doesn't work. You can stop, or you can decide they should be on Friday, or you can decide they should be lunches. You don't need to study every possible aspect of trying a social hour to try it. And so only the things that are very hard to reverse really need a lot of study before you try them. There are things that are hard to reverse. Public promises are hard to reverse. Cutting maintenance on your airplanes and then having a crash is very hard to reverse. You can't take away a plane crash from your airline's reputation. You can't be like, that didn't work. I want to reverse it. At least not until we have time machines, right? There's no way to do that. So, all right. So the point is, this is a pretty good principle you can apply on how to do this. Now, story time, story hour. Ooh, that might be another good emote for the future. We need a story hour emote. We have a bunch of emotes and new channel emotes, by the way, under construction. I have an artist working on them. So we'll get new results in the emote world soon. All right, story hour. So let's see. A few years ago, I went to climb this mountain with a friend and a couple friends of mine. And let's see. I don't know if you can see it, but this is Liberty Bell. Hence, the big thing that says Liberty Bell Mountain. That's called a hint. But this thing on the left was thought by the people who named it to look like the outline of the Liberty Bell. And this is in the North Cascades Mountains in Washington. And so you can see the arrow here, hopefully, if you have it on web, if you're on mobile phone. The first little valley between the mountain and the thing next to it, which is Concord Tower, is a 2,000-foot long scree-covered gully, which means it's steep and full of loose rocks. But then you kind of climb up this left side of it. Is the easiest route up, and it's not a very hard climb. Anyway, I went off to do this climb. And my friends and I were lazy, and we didn't get up very early in the morning, so we went late. And we kind of lollygagged our way out there, and we climbed up this long thing. And I don't know, we got up to this little notch, which is called a saddle, in like early afternoon or maybe noon or whatever. And then we were taking a long, slow time to climb it because we were all new climbers. And I won't drag this part of the story out. We eventually got to this part of the rock, which is the third pitch. And the line here shows that when you get to, there's kind of a place where you turn right and you go around the corner. Well, the guy who was leading our group got up to where the line really turned sharp right and didn't know where to go. And he looked to the right and it didn't look good to him. So he tried going to the left and he couldn't figure it out. And it was getting late and dark. So now comes the interesting part of the story. We had a lot of climbing to do, and it was getting late, dark, and cold. And we weren't equipped for any of that. So that was a mistake. That was a screw up. But the big part is we had to rig an anchor. We decided it was time to get off the mountain, but we had done a bunch of climbing already. And so we had to rig an anchor down near the bottom of this red line and then throw our ropes tied to the anchor over the edge of the cliff over here to the right and see if we could get all the way back down to this flat spot where we could then walk. So we were somewhere up on the side of the mountain, if you can see the little pointer, and we're throwing the ropes over and hoping they're going to reach the bottom. There are 3 of us on this climb. I am the largest and certainly the heaviest. So And there's a little guy, a good friend of mine named Sid. So the first question is, who goes first? Because we can't see the bottom, so we don't know if the ropes reach all the way or if the person who climbs over is going to get stuck. The second thing is, we're just tied to an anchor we made. And so there's a chance it will pull out, and the first person to hang their weight on the rope will fall over the edge and die. And so not good, right? And so let's see. Bottom line is, I figured if anybody's going to die, I'm going to go first. I'm the heaviest. Why don't I go first? Yeah, I was not hiking. Not at all. Send the small guy first. Yeah. We maybe should have, because the other two of us might have pulled him back up if he got stuck, whereas they weren't pulling me back up. So anyway, I back up to the edge of the cliff, and I'm standing there kind of freaked out and scared. Because once I go over the edge of this cliff, it's like I got to figure it out from there. I've got to find my way down, and if I can't find my way down, I need to either climb back up unknown rock that might be very hard, or I need to find a place to tie into the cliff where I can set up a place and bring people down to me, and then we can go further from there if it takes 2 steps to get down. Well, long story short, I'm just like standing on the edge of the cliff, frozen. Meanwhile, it's getting darker and colder, darker and colder. And one of my climbing buddies finally says, "Ethan, we need to get moving." And that prompt was super helpful because it goes back to this previous point about bias for action. And, you know, it was time for some calculated risk taking. Like it was time to get after it. And so this story has a happy ending based on the fact I'm sitting here. I went over the edge of the cliff. It turns out that the rope with my weight on it just barely stretched to where I could get all the way down. And so I was just barely able to reach the bottom. And then my 2 friends were able to come down. And we packed up our ropes and we hiked out. We got to the bottom of like this steep part. Then it got dark. I didn't have a headlamp, another mistake I'll never make. So we walked out sharing headlamps. Like I was walking ahead of someone and they had a headlamp. So I was walking in the light from their headlamp and we got out. And then later I went back and climbed the mountain. So I have, in fact, climbed the one on the left. And I have to go back and climb the others. But, yeah, I agree, LG Air. If you fall on a mountain, that is very irreversible, which is why I was afraid to go over the edge. But you reach a point where staying there, our other choice, which we considered, was spending the night out on the mountain, but we didn't have any camping gear and it was getting cold. And so standing on a ledge all night in the dark, hoping that like you don't get too cold and you can figure it out in the morning, you're stuck with bad choices. So that is a point, and it happens at work too, where sometimes there are no good answers. And so sometimes you have to make a choice between crappy answers. I actually say that's true very much with the COVID-19 problem. If you look at society, we have crappy choices. We can either have a lot of economic damage, or we can have a lot of death, or you can have a heaping helping of some of each. There's no, on other streams I've said, it's like playing poker when you've been dealt like 2, 3, 6, 7, 10. It's not a very strong hand. And so maybe you just have to bluff. I don't know. But I wanted to share that story to point out that sometimes you do just have to take action, and it sucks. And I think that's our case on the COVID stuff. So, yeah, the cam border, I see it, whatever. I'm just going to flip off this screen actually in a minute. So what do I want to talk about? Let's talk COVID-19 for a second because I want to get your help on this, but some stats will be good first. So this is today's WHO report. If you haven't seen it and you care, here's the link in chat. And I want to talk about taking action here. So this is the link to the report I'm looking at. It's on the WHO site. They publish it every day. Yeah, that window capture doesn't fit perfectly. You're right. I'll look at that sometime offline. But I acknowledge the problem. Anyway, here's what I want to talk about. The first news flash, in my opinion, is Spain. Why? I looked today, Italy's population, we may have some Spaniards or Italians here. Feel free to sound off in chat if you're here. Give me better information. This data is 1 day old, so the totals, the current as this second totals are higher. That is not going to be the point. The point is that Italy is a country of about 61 million people. Spain is a country of 46 million people. So right now, Italy is all in the news along with the U.S. because it's got the huge death toll above 10,000. But in fact, Spain now appears to be tracking worse. Proportionally, they have more cases per population than Italy. Their growth rate, even though they're a smaller country, is wildly faster, over 8,000 compared to less than 6,000. And their death rate is essentially the same, different by maybe 5%, a little bit more, 6-7%. This, you're going to hear a lot more about Spain soon. So that's thing one, world problem. Second thing, if you haven't heard it, that came up today, and then we'll go on to like what I want to do as a community. Why don't you just throw a giant ad on the page? Super helpful. In Italy, they've started having food theft. Basically, people out of work. It says it here at the bottom. Italian government, right, amid brewing social unrest in the country's coronavirus takedown takes its toll on the poor. So as lockdown goes on, we know a lot of people are leaving. A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. Well, they aren't getting paychecks anymore, and they still need food. So this is going to be a problem in more and more countries and locations as this goes on. And this is lightweight social unrest. What do I mean by that? This is people robbing stores, snatching food, which is bad, but nobody's died yet from that. But there's stuff later in here about people threatening rebellion. We have to eat. We have no money to pay. So on and on. The point is, Italy's been locked down the hardest for the longest. They're talking about the mafia leaning in, although that's a politician, so you can't necessarily trust it. But there's all kinds of stuff in here. But this is the key point. Okay, this part is right. And it's right globally. The more time passes, the more resources are exhausted. The few savings people have are running out. This tells us socioeconomic issues will erupt. This is correct, in my opinion. So let's hop back over here. Why did I bother to show these stats? It shows that the situation is worsening, and I don't like being passive. And so what I wanted to talk about, it's an accelerant to the fire. That's right, Dome Kang. That is exactly right. And I appreciate you being here. You're a good member of the community who contributes a lot positively. So Uh, the This problem is going to get worse, and it shows that the situation we're in is not stable. As leaders, as members in all of your communities, wherever you live, whatever you do, whatever job you're in, things aren't going to stay the same week by week. The society around us is going to change in the different countries, in the different cities, states, etc. And the circumstances are going to change. And things we don't all anticipate are going to arise, like social unrest. I happen to be very lucky. I'm living in a region near Seattle where the government got on this pretty quick. We haven't licked the virus, but we have flattened the curve somewhat. But in places where it's terrible, and for people who aren't still able to do their job, they're headed for bad times. So what I wanted to talk to you about as a stream, and I see there's some argument about Holland versus Netherlands going on in chat, which I love. You now get a chance to educate me. Those two words, Holland and the Netherlands, in the U.S. are used as synonyms. Can someone knowledgeable in chat either discriminate between the two or explain that they are in fact actually the same? So what they are used as synonyms. Holland is a province of the Netherlands. Okay, good to know. They are definitely used as synonyms here. Huh. Two of them are called Holland? That's even more confusing. So there's a North Holland and a South Holland? This is awesome. We're going to do something. By the way, we're going to we're going to use we're probably going to set something up in Discord so people can show their regional where they're at, because I love knowing where people are. Because when I go on my world tour, I want to run into as many of the fans of the channel that I've gotten to know as possible. And so I've been talking with some people from Estonia today about going bog walking. Seems super cool. And a bunch of other stuff. Oh, now we're getting the I want my bike back stuff. I do know that joke. Your daily uptime. I'm surprised the virus has exploded in India. Do you mean has? Yeah, has not. I hope it doesn't, because they don't have the health care. Yeah. All right. We only use Holland EL for sports. Are you familiar? No, I don't think I'm familiar with Charles Bukowski. All right. So bottom line, let's see. What I was hoping you could help me with is two thoughts, and then I will answer questions you want me to answer in the question widget. We'll do some speed running. We'll do some finishing of the drink, and we'll call it a night. Number one, chat. What could I do? I want to feel like I am helping. I want to feel like I am helping with this crisis in some way. I can stay home. I can give money when I can. I can support the local economy. We bought from a restaurant tonight and did takeout. But what else can I personally do? Besides, yes, Dome Kang, don't go outside. I got it. What is most helpful that I could do? Second, what could we do as a team? In other words, I'm very proud of the community we've built. There's very smart people here. We have a global community. We have smart people. Is there something we could do together that all of us want to do together? That, or not all of us, but that some of us want to do together. So, for example, it's been suggested that I should do a show where we organize a virtual job fair. And everybody brings in as much information as they know on openings or places that are hiring. And we share it here. And we do like our own job fair. And I started with possibly a new tradition you all liked, which was the resume review at the beginning of the show. So that's another good thing we could do. But what else do you guys have? What else do you think we should do? So let's see. What else do we have? Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada is hiring 50,000 people. Yeah, if you want to be delivery, there are so many places. Can I post a link? Dome Kang, yeah, send it to one of the 2 mods or 3 mods. So Kristen is a mod. We also have T Weirdo 3 and 40 Pink Dragons are all mods. Send it to one of them and they'll check it out and post it. Uh-oh, lime failure. Now I have lime juice on my shirt. It's a price I'll have to pay. Korean American. I like how you were fast on that. Yeah, the lime ran away from the Corona. And I hope it's not ripped the shirt. That would suck. Oh, oh well, it's a good drink. T Weirdo, Kristen, I wish you were here to share it with us. So, do an educational cooking show. My wife would love that. She was just asking when I would start doing more cooking. So, that's probably why we ordered out. Yeah, I've heard about this, Minu, that you're bringing up. There's a distributed computer network for coronavirus research. Yeah, some people were talking to me about that in Discord, that if you have a gaming computer, you can, or any computer, but if you have a gaming computer, you can sign it up to run calculations on molecules and protein folding and stuff during its idle. Yeah, folding. You can send that link to the mods too if you want. Yeah. And so I may do that because my streaming computer sits idle. Oh, geez. I stream 4 hours a week. So it sits idle a good 160 plus a week. And so, you know, that's CPU that could be used for this. All right. Consider deleting the test stream. Yeah, you're right, Victor TV. We need to clean those up. I will get that done. Let me go challenge that in Discord right now with my stream team. Hang on. Please, 1 second. I will do that right now because it's good suggestion. Okay, here we go. It was brought up on stream that we have a bunch of test videos on Twitch. Can you go delete them to clean things out? All right. Thank you, Victor. All right, what else we got? I'm going to see what else is in chat, and then I'm going to answer some of the questions that have been piling up. Oh, it's a remote access typing thing. I liked your LinkedIn promotion for a hackathon this weekend. Your network is huge, so I think you'd be crucial in spreading communication opportunities. That's true. I can use my network to help, and that's a good suggestion, Kristen. So Docacy says Spain is in a less severe. We are in a less severe situation than Italy. Are you in Spain, Docacy? I may have missed that if you said that. Spain looks bad from the stats. It looks grim. What else? How do I not get fat while staying inside all day? Don't buy bad food. I actually have been losing weight. Because we only brought good food into the house. So if you have that option, you can actually lose weight by getting the temptation away. Doxy, I live in North Spain. We have 800 deaths a day now. Yeah, that seems grim. That's why I was saying earlier, unfortunately, I think Spain is in real trouble if I just look at the size of the population. But Doxy, it's good to meet you, and I am very sorry for you. What else? P90X is free to find online. Hello, everyone. Hope you're staying healthy. Hey, Attila. Welcome back in. Always good to have you here. We're talking about how our stream community and I can be proactive and take actual action. So the first part about COVID-19. The first part of the show is about taking action at work. And we talked about that, and I gave advice. We updated the Magic Loop about being proactive and the options there. So I think that was a really good brief coaching show. And now we're talking about how do we do the same thing? Is there something about COVID-19? So virtual job fair is something we'll probably do. I don't know when yet, but look, it's going to be needed for months or forever. So we will probably put on a virtual job fair. And I also may add this resume of the day or resume of the stream. So you can, I'll probably just pick resumes from our Discord community resume review channel. So if you want to get your resume reviewed or have the potential for it to be reviewed on stream, strip out all the personal information and put it in our Discord community resume review channel. And the next time I stream, maybe I'll pick some up from there. No guarantees. So I'm in social. So we went to stay at home and rules pretty early. Yeah. All right. All right, cool. What else? You guys have made some pretty good suggestions. Send help. I'm really sorry that you're a stress eater. That's a bummer. Nikola Tesla here in Oregon, they're looking okay. We had less new cases than yesterday and the day before. Yeah, Oregon's doing pretty well. I think stuff's still growing. I haven't looked at the CDC stats today, but Seattle's holding on. I really feel bad for some of the parts of Europe. And I will also say some parts of America are screwed. Oh, SoCal, Southern California. Yeah, you went home early as well. I would say some parts of the U.S. besides just New York are going to get tanked, is my unfortunate opinion. Okay, Anurg, for now, I mean, I still have a job, although we're now in short-time work with pay cuts, but there's certainly a chance it won't be around much longer. Yeah, you should be working on, I assume that means thought about, you should... no, Ohio locked down early under Governor DeWine. My daughter lives in Ohio, and I think Ohio's doing pretty well. I think it's mostly in the South. I think, you know, what do I know? I'm not the epidemiologist, but I think a lot of the South has waited to apply any restrictions, and a lot of the Central West, and they're going to get burnt. We had our first confirmed case Thursday in a city of 30,000. Is New York City too late to try to curb the curve? Well, they're trying, but it's such a densely populated city. Kristen, yeah, Kristen, the way you're going to get a surge, frankly, is all the New Yorkers running. Because New York feels like a death zone right now, so you get out of New York. So it would not surprise me, unfortunately. Kristen works in the medical community in Ohio. All right, so let me answer. Yeah, I think, I don't blame New Yorkers. Like, I read this thing. Do we have any Scots here? Do we have any people from Scotland? Because I read this thing that, like, the rural towns in Scotland were telling people from the cities in Scotland and from the rest of the UK to go back home. And I thought, you know, that's just kind of like saying, I get it, but it's kind of like saying, well, so go back to London and die. Go back to Glasgow and die. Obviously, that's not what really is being said, but I don't blame people for wanting to get the hell out of New York or out of cities. I also don't get I also don't blame the rural communities for being like, we don't have the hospital capacity. If you bring all the disease here, we're screwed. So I don't know. It's a huge problem. Yeah, exactly. It's me, Lyric. I get it, right? People are fleeing New York, and they're going to bring it with them. So, Kristen, if you run into any New Yorkers, wear a mask. I mean, that's facetious. I'm sure you're trying to stay safe, but. Docacy, I heard about the problems in nursing homes in Spain. Those are terrible. I mean, they're unbelievable. Just people being found left dead in their beds, like no one even caring for them. That's unbelievable. All right, let me answer a few of the questions. So do you think we'll take a few of the questions that are in our Q&A tool. If you want to add to them, go ahead. I'm going to kind of speed run these because I'm not planning on a huge long stream tonight. Yeah, we definitely need test stations. Maybe not on the interstates, but we need test stations. Curacao is now also in lockdown. That's amazing. So first question is, do you think the aftermath of this pandemic will include more professionals shifting to work from home where possible? Absolutely. Work will never be the same. I will share, because it's a question that comes up later. Somebody asked how my team is doing. My team is getting as much done as before. Now, there are some problems with work-life balance where people at home are having trouble setting boundaries because their computer is always open and they're having trouble figuring out when to work and when not to work. But basically, we're getting just as much done, which is starting to make me wonder, what the hell is the office good for? Now, again, if my mods are here, this is where they put up the fact that I am not speaking for Amazon or Twitch. I'm just giving my personal experience. And I know my mods are here. They're great. But, yes, I am helping them with boundary setting. And we're trying to figure that out. We're trying to figure out, I've talked about before, we went to restricted hours for meetings. So we only allow meetings 9 to noon and 2 to 5. So there's no late meetings, there's no early meetings, and there's a 2-hour break over lunch so that people with kids at home can go feed their kids and deal with stuff. So we are trying very hard to help with boundaries. Nonetheless, we have a highly motivated professional workforce. And so people are sorting that out on their own. But the key point here isn't about boundaries, which we are helping with, but productivity. If productivity is working, now we had some advantages. We're all in the same time zone. All my employees are U.S. Pacific time zone, and they all knew each other from working in the office before. But we've actually found a number of things work better from home. And so the bottom line is this question, this is a no-brainer. Work will never go back to being as much in the office as it was, particularly, see, the drink is showing now. Gift glass from T Weirdo, by the way. T Weirdo is my glassware supplier. We have mixologists. We have glassware buyers. I have the deepest support team for a small partner ever. It's awesome. But we will never go back to work the way it was, particularly because the stay at home, work at home is going to stay that way for a long time. Meaning, I understand, I haven't seen the announcement, but I understand the U.S. President Trump, just extended the stay-at-home guidance, and many states are going to do that. And so I think white-collar workers, knowledge workers are going to be at home all of April and probably into May. I don't think schools will generally reopen. And as a result, we're going to have an 8-week, 10-week, 12-week long work-from-home experiment. And at the end of that, I don't think work will ever be the same. The tools will have improved. The knowledge will have improved. So I'm going to read chat, and then I'll go to the next question. Let's see. It's funny. We had for years the technology to work from home, and now we're finally using it. I agree, Jack the Dipper. This forced people to do it and to get over their suspicions. Pink Dragons, good job escorting an idiot out of chat. For anybody who's here and doesn't understand, we have an idiot-free chat. Zanzibar, thank you for hosting. Very nice of you. We have an idiot-free chat. If you come in here because you're 13 years old and need to say the F word a lot or other dumb stuff, we will let you find another Twitch channel. There are millions. So that's why normally I have an absurd amount of mods. There's 3 mods here tonight, and they just race to see who can kill the idiot first. It's great to have that squad at my back. All right, universities will never be the same either. I agree with you, Time Stopper. I wonder, in the U.S., there's this remote university, University of Phoenix. I wonder if their sales pitch in the future will not be, hey, why pay all that money for those other guys when you're going to get schooled from home anyway? Like something like that, right? So, and I do think it matters with some people's learning styles. And I do think, by the way, it's going to be a hybrid. It won't be all work from home or all work for the office. In the past, it was everybody worked in an office, more or less. Right now, it's everybody works at home. It's going to be a hybrid in the future. And that's probably going to be better. And it will vary based on are you new or not and where do you live and what kind of industry are you in, because I'm sure there's an optimal mix for every industry. But it's going to be different than the assumption that you have to go into the office. I thought Ethan would be the Dragon Slayer, but I was wrong. You are the dragon. 40 pink dragons. That is so true. The dragon that slays, eats them, burns them with fire. Oh, hey, K-Vol. Thank you. It was fun to make partner. All right. So we answered that. Next question. Can we expect more live chats with medical professionals to ask questions or educate ourselves? Yeah, so our virus specialist, Vincent Racaniello, volunteered to come back. So I just need to schedule with him. I don't want to do it too often, but I'll reach back out to him in a couple weeks and bring him back. And Twitch seems to be willing to keep featuring that on the homepage as a public service, and God knows people need it. So I'll probably bring him back in a week or two. He's a wonderful gentleman, and he's in New York City, which makes me fear for his safety because he's in the high-risk group. K-Vol, you would like more science people in general. Got it. The next person I'm probably going to bring is a guy, and this is going to be powerful. He's a long-term acquaintance of mine. I can't say friend, but I've known him over 10 years. He runs a recruiting agency. And he has over 100 headhunters who work for him, and they place people and they serve a big business. And so I think having a professional, frankly, mercenary headhunter come on and talk about what gets their attention and what doesn't, and who's hiring and who isn't, and how to get the attention of a placement agency is probably one of the most powerful guests I could bring. So I'm going to schedule him next. And does he recruit actual mercenaries? That's a good question. I don't think so. It turns out that's illegal in the U.S. You can't advertise for actual mercenaries. Domkang says Blackwater. We'll get into politics if I go there. But there used to be a magazine. It's probably long gone, called Soldier of Fortune. Yeah, it was like a weird bag that was all about supposedly people who wanted to be mercenaries, like mercenary wannabes. Jack the Dipper, we know a lot of those. We could bring in. We could have a lot of fun bringing guests. The main focus of my channel is career, but guests are fun. All right, so next question. We're going to get rid of that one. How long will this social distancing likely last if following best practice? These are all leftover questions from when we had Vincent on, so I'll roll them. couple months. We're going to do this at least a couple months. We might get a break over the summer. Then we're going to do it more probably in the fall. By the way, if you haven't looked at it, I haven't Googled it. I don't have the link queued up. But if you want to go see the link, go find, there's these stats from comparing 24 U.S. cities and the social distancing they did in the 1918 flu pandemic and how it worked out for them, and the death rate they had per 100,000 citizens. And so actually my college city of Pittsburgh, I think, was absolute worst. I think they had 824 deaths per 1,000 citizens from the flu in the 24 weeks following their first case, which is close to 1%. And then other cities did better. And so it shows, though, like, it shows a bunch of cities that like did social distancing, then turned it off too soon and then put it back. And you can see the double peak where like they didn't really have it under control and then they turned it off and it blew up again. And so, yeah, per 100K. That's right. So someone could probably find that link, send it to one of our mods in a whisper. But anyway, let's keep rolling the questions because I'll clear out these old questions. The next question is, it seems like New York metropolitan area is hit extremely hard. Is the rest of the U.S. expected to avoid their curve? Nobody knows for sure, but I would think L.A. locked down early, so they probably will avoid it. That's our second largest city. Chicago locked down. They'll probably avoid it. Meanwhile, New Orleans didn't. They're in trouble. Miami probably in trouble. So we have a lot of big cities in the South, I think, in trouble. Hey, Main Squad Asian. Wow, thank you so much for the 10 gifts. That is fantastic. And you hit a lot of people like Gunia, Shinkona Karma, Paintbrush Hero, who are really contributors to this stream. Thank you very much. There were a lot of Chicago people here. Yep. Thank you for all the gifts. And Jeepicus, you got one, right? I know you were already a sub. Sorry, which is even better. Thank you. But Main Squad, paying forward the gift you got from Sean123. That is simply fabulous. I appreciate it very much. By the way, tomorrow night, I'll be at the board meeting for the Washington Trails Association, where I'm on the board of directors. Obviously, charities are going into a hurt locker right now because people are afraid. People are worried about they're worried about their pay, their job stability. They're laid off. And so charities are going to be hurting for the next year or two. A lot of what the WTA would normally do is canceled because we do work parties out on trail. And really no one wants to get together to work even on a trail and be around 25 other people all day. So... hey, Charlie Peepers. I lived in Boston twice for about 2 years total. What's the meeting like? We have a big board. Charities often have big boards. We have 20-some people on the board of directors. And we use GoToMeeting, which is going to be super painful for 24 people. We've never tried to do a virtual meeting before. So it's fun, though. It's a good... Basically, I just sit and listen, give my opinion if needed, but it's going to be really interesting. Denver's set of peaks look like a mountain range. Oh, yeah. Okay, so K-Vol, you must have found the 1918 data. Oh, there it is. Kristen posted it. Yeah, so if anybody's curious, check out that link Kristen just posted. It's very easy to absorb, and it's city by city. And I said this before. Pay attention. You're here to get better at being leaders, to get better at your careers. This situation is the best. Okay. The human tragedy is not worth it. However, given that there is a human tragedy anyway, this situation is the best leadership lab you could possibly ask for. Every politician, nation, political system, block of nations, state, governor, school manager, school superintendent, business leader. They were all given the same, as Dom Kang says, trial by fire at the exact same time. And Keval, you are right. It became rant time because I said, listen up, people. It is trial by fire for all those leaders. What do? Are they taking care of their people? Are they keeping them safe? Are they running their business? Are they managing their cash? Are they protecting their citizens? How are they handling the medical, the social, the economic? It is hell for those leaders. And you have the chance, if you're early in your career, you have the chance to study every different leadership approach, because in the U.S. alone, some states are closing. They were quick to close businesses or schools. Some were slow. Some mayors were quick to close businesses or schools. Some were slow. Some immediately set up emergency hospitals in like conference centers. Some did nothing. Some are still doing nothing. Different countries. You can study these responses. What led them to do it? How did it work out? What did they say about it? How did they try and cover their ass when it goes wrong? You have an incredible chance to learn by watching thousands of leaders, right? Calisi says 6 counties in the Bay Area shut down pretty fast before California called for the whole state. That is correct. Tesla says, made me so angry at the store today when I saw a couple shopping. So Tesla, you bring me to my second rant. So all those new subs, you can throw the rant icon in chat. You've got the new sub. Why not use it? Pink Dragons did do that. She sent our 18-year-old son. Hey, Paintbrush, you got a free sub, by the way. You got re-upped, buddy. Good job. Good to see you here, by the way. Thank you. Look, the social distancing is only working so well in lots of countries. There are lots of people still going out, blowing it off. I've talked to some of my friends in China. The only way the social distancing really happened is when the people who got it started humiliating or calling out the people who didn't. And so you just need to start speaking up. And I know that's painful. And I know for some of you, it's not your way. And you don't have to be confrontational. But you can just start saying to people, hey, we need to be 6 feet apart. Or, hey, I thought it was one shopper at a time. Other people will join in with you when you set the example. But someone has to be the first person to call out the bad behavior. And so, by the way, I was going to bring up, because I had this rant planned, frankly. Usually the rants are spontaneous, but this one was planned. You guys just prompted me to do it, which is totally fine. If you see people doing stupid shit, call them out. It's your life or your parents' life or your grandparents' life that hangs in the balance. Oh, Sean, they're arresting people for that, buddy. Be careful with that advice. I love you, but be careful with that advice. Yeah, some guy got right in back of me at Stop and Shop, and I told him to step back. Good job, Charlie. Way to go. Yeah, K-Fall's right. You might not want to do that. So many people seem to not take it seriously. As the death toll in the U.S. mounts, it'll get serious, but that's too late. Like, how many dead bodies do you have to see? Person that coughed on stuff at the store is being charged with bioterrorism. That is correct and good. Fiddler, welcome. I haven't seen you in chat too much, but it's great to have you here. Absolutely. And they should be. I was out for a walk today and some old guy on a bike was calling out a bunch of groups that were using the playing fields. Good. Good. And that's going to happen, right? And once that happens, things change. My friend in China says, man, if you are seen without a mask on or standing close to someone, you get lit up. The passerbys are on you faster than the cops or the military. No, Dome Kang, the person who was coughing was like obviously doing it. Somebody said, could you give me a little more space? And then they purposely coughed on the people. Like, no, you're not going to get jailed for coughing. But there was somebody who got filmed licking the produce in a grocery store, and they're going to get it, and they should. Yeah. Jack, I mean, I don't like to see people beaten necessarily, but the message has to get out there that, look, your disregard is killing me. I'm a libertarian, by the way, at heart. Like, I like liberties. I like civil liberties, but there's a great saying that's pretty simple, which is your right to swing your fist ends at the end of my nose. Yeah, rather get hit with a stick than die. Exactly. The activities of others endanger us all. Like, I'm a healthy 50-year-old. My odds are pretty good, but they're not 100%. I don't want it. So we're taking a lot of precautions here. We're doing a lot to be safe. All right, let's keep rolling. Have any advice for someone who just graduated and looking for a job in this pandemic? That's the next question. Yes. Yes, I do. Network. Okay, you've heard that before, but network. Did I mention network? Failing that, though, in your situation right now, jobs are going to get scarce. Take any job short term that isn't slavery. Take a job, get some experience, have income through this downturn. Even if the job is IT, the job is beneath you, the job is web dev, and you want to be a full stack dev, get in a job right now and get a paycheck and some experience, because there's going to be a lot of people warming the benches. Second, join our Discord. Use that community. That's a way to start a network. Ask for help. Amazon is still hiring tons of people in CS jobs. I don't know if that's what you do, but we're still hiring. Lots of big companies are still hiring. All right. Next question. Can you speak on the economic impacts of this virus on your team? So this was the question I said was coming, that I knew was coming, and so I kind of pre-answered it. Our team is doing better. And globally, gamers, most of the people here, even though I talk career, you are gamers. Gaming is up. We are the new heroes. The World Health Organization launched a new hashtag and a new program last night called Play a Part Together, about how gaming is a great way to stay socially connected while being socially distant physically. So this actually is where Dome Kang says gamers rise up. Not Beazle Aboot says the same thing. Gamers rise up. This actually is our time. This is our rare time not to be seen as Cheeto dust covered unemployed nerds in the basement, but to be seen as regular people filling our time and being social with others and staying the hell indoors rather than sneaking around in groups outside holding coronavirus parties. So gamers, this is your chance to rise up. So no shit, we're on a roll. Take it. All right. Next question. No longer a meme. That's true. I'm a goblin when I game. Mountain Dew and Doritos. I love them. Although I got to admit, I once, as a kid, I was a fat kid. I've lost 80 pounds roughly long ago. I was a big boy. Big boy. I made a better door than a window, let's say. I once drank half a gallon of milk while eating a large bag of Doritos, and then I tried to go to sleep, and it felt like I had a basketball in my stomach. I couldn't lay on my stomach at all. It was It was like the things, I was a teen, right? And the things teenagers eat, like, no, I was not high and I won't ban you. Your daily uptime, that was a good question. I don't do drugs, honestly. Long story short, I don't hide it. My brother, who has now passed away from alcoholism, he was older. He grew dope and he got sent to jail because that's what used to happen back in the day for growing. And looking up to Big Brother, I was like, yeah, I don't really want to go to jail, so I'm going to stay the hell away from it. Live Sports, thank you for the raid. Chalupa Whale. Relive Sports, he used to be known as Chalupa Whale, is raiding with a party of 4. Come on in. We're buzzing through questions, and we're talking about the time I drank a half gallon of milk and ate the big bag of Doritos. Because as a teen, my diet was not the most healthy. In high school, I ate 7 hamburgers. I once ate a Big Mac at McDonald's in only 3 bites. All right, Big Mac eating story. I was really hungry. We had been out in the mountains exploring, and we had spent all day in a cave. We found a cave on a map. Oh, spoiler, Duke won. Duke's not playing anything. They couldn't have won shit. Virtual? What'd they win? Most people home, staying home? Most people avoiding the pandemic? What? All right. Anyway, can anyone do one-handed push-ups? I cannot. So we had been out in the mountains all day caving, spelunking. We came back. I was really hungry. We went to a McDonald's, and I ate my Big Mac in 4 bites. And I thought, that was pretty big. But I wonder if I could do that in 3 bites or fewer. So it turns out the secret is you get a big bite first and you go for depth. And then what you're doing is you're trying to make the Big Mac look like a horseshoe because you can get more of it. The problem with the Big Mac at first is it doesn't fit in your mouth. But once you take that bite out, you can spin it into your mouth all the way till the point of the Big Mac is all the way in the back of your throat. So anyway, Main Squad Agent, got to work early. We're almost done, but thank you for being here, and thank you so much for the mini gifts. So that's how you do the 3 bites. Whoppers. Yup. All right. Let's keep rolling here. Will new careers emerge in response to the coronavirus when this is all over? Sadly, probably yes. A lot more people in cleaning, but that's not new. I don't know, epidemic prevention, disaster planning, some of those things are going to be bigger in corporations. And I'm sure you can do it in 2 bites if you squish it. But the real problem, the sad thing is, what I think as a society we're going to learn is how to avoid pandemics, not how to plan ahead as a species for our future. I wish we'd learned the more general lesson than the more specific one. Because what we're going to learn is disease is bad. Don't let that run loose. What we're not going to learn is like global warming is bad or nuclear war is bad. We're only going to learn the specific, not the general. So that's a little sad to me. Next question. I'm overloaded at work. How do you have time to ask or find things to take action on? What sort of fantasy is this? And it's got a kappa on the question. Like I said earlier, you got to be able to delegate or just don't do the other shit. In other words, I've talked about this before. Read The 4-Hour Workweek by, what is it? Tim, who's The 4-Hour Workweek? Why am I blanking on it? Tim Ferriss. Read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And, he talks about the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. Most of the shit you're doing is worthless. Probably. And so go do better work and don't do some of the other stuff. And I realize that's easy for me to say. I don't know your job, but go do other work. All right. Next question. Currently scheduling an Amazon interview for software engineer, 2 years of experience. How should I prepare for this in contrast to other fangish companies? FANG, by the way, for those of you who don't know, is an acronym that's Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. And it's a reference to all the tech companies. Sometimes they put 2 A's in it, and it's Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. Anyway, Microsoft keeps knocking on the door and hoping to get into FANG, so maybe that'll happen. But look, what should you do? Go read the leadership principles I showed earlier. Go to, let's see. Go to this page and this link. Go read these and be familiar with them. Have stories that exemplify all of them. And I'm not telling anything secret. This is all public. Go be able to give star stories, situation, task, action, result that explain how you did each of these, because that's what the interviewers will ask you besides tech skills. If your tech skills are good, you'll be fine. If they're not, you won't be fine. Can't help you on that part. All right, last question. Can you ask Dr. K on to ask about what this impact will, can you ask Dr. K, Dr. Kanagia on to ask how this will impact everyone getting back to normal? I work with lots of kids in sports. I'm kind of clueless how long it will take to get back to normal when we can. Ugh. So I am going to do a show probably on the 14th that is going to be about stress and anxiety management. It's going to be one of the streams I do internal to Amazon, where you guys are also invited to show up, and I'm going to have a guest speaking about it. So I don't know if I can get Dr. K to come on, but I do believe that we can get somebody to talk about some of this. So, all right. So with that, we've run through the questions. We've had a talk. You've given me some ideas. I think the thing we'll take away and do as a team is a virtual career fair online. I'm going to read chat real quick, and I'm going to call it a night because it was a good, fun, short chat with y'all. And then for next show, I haven't picked the next show yet. I have a couple in the hopper, so I will let you know. I'll let you know. Oh, question of the week. Thank you, T Weirdo. Question of the week this week was kind of, what can we do as a community? What can we do together to combat COVID? And the best answer I've seen is to do a community job fair, because people are going to need jobs. But if you have a different idea, I put it out, and I'm not doing a relationship question of the week beyond that. I'm going to read chat real quick. I have a boss who's assigning stupid busy work. We have something to work on while at home. So Attila, if you have the relationship, that's a great place to ask why. Ask, why is this important? What is this for? Can you help me understand how this aligns to our goals? Any question to get at the why. Okay. What else? K-Vol, do you think so? I don't know what that refers to. Do you think we'll talk more about overpopulation density? I don't know, Jack. That one's super tough. That one's so loaded with religious overtones, political overtones. I think K-Vol's right. People just want to get back to normal. I mean, look, when people get wealthy, basically, when they get first world lifestyle, they stop having kids. All the first world countries, broadly speaking, all the rich countries have declining birth rates, and all the poor countries have high birth rates. So, and it takes a generation for that to turn over. So we need a richer world. Next stream, red wine, Coca-Cola, the drink, yeah, from Docacy. Is that shit any good? Like, be honest with me. I could do red wine and Coke in honor of Spain. It's we know it from the movie about the Camino de Santiago, which I would love to hike. I'm sure it's really overcrowded now because it was in a movie. Kobuk Project, thank you very much. That's a really kind thing of you to say, that you will be back. I appreciate that. Welcome to the community. Feel free to join our Discord. Yeah, if you don't know what else to do, Hananj 10 or Hanjio, maybe that is. Hanangio. When you see people violating social distancing, call them out on it. You can be polite without being confrontational, but the one thing all of us can do is go call them out. And then, Hanangio, you say you're depressed. Me too, in some ways. Read less news, talk about it less, take more action. I didn't talk about this. This is the last bonus rant for the end of the show. Being passive sucks. It puts you in a victim stance. We are quarantined is a different statement than I am self-isolating. I am self-isolating is a choice. We are quarantined. We must stay at home is a victim statement. I am choosing to help is actionable. I don't know what I can do is victim. You want to be the one, not the other. And it makes a huge difference in your thoughts if you feel empowered, like you're doing your own thing. So my advice to you, my simple advice, not being a psychologist, psychiatrist, any of that stuff, is, so follow the stream, Hanangio. I stream once or twice a week because I work full-time at Amazon. So normally I can't stream 9 to 5, 8 to 6 weekdays. Domekang says correctly, interrogate your thought process. Try and figure out, are you feeling like someone else did something to you, or are you feeling like we make choices? I'm in Seattle, greater metro Seattle as well. I live south of the city. Coke and wine is pretty good. My Chilean friend who introduced me to it calls it yote. Exercise, also a good suggestion. Don't just get some physical exercise. That is a great point. Some guy just turned in, wanted to say hi. Thank you. I appreciate you dropping by. First virtual teaching classes this week. Lucky to have been hired. That is so true. Congratulations, some guy. All right. Sweet. Well, Hanan, I'm really glad that you enjoy it. Please follow and come back. So with that, folks, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go hang out with my family before I have to go back to work tomorrow. But you guys have been great. You've really cheered me up. You're my stress relief. I hope I'm some of that for you. Look, people come soaring out of recessions and surge forward in their careers. You all have the chance to do that. It's your path to mega yachts and private islands, or as close as you want to get to that. You can come out of this and be better off. And so come back, lean in, and we'll do great things. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. You have a great night, and cheers.